Welcome to Cardboard Chemistry. I'm your host, MTG Labman, and today we're going to continue the trend going through the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cards that were spoiled during Lorwyn Eclipsed pre-release, and we're going to continue with the green cards. So without further ado, let's get started. First card we're going to go over is Ground Chuck and Dirtbag. 4 colorless and 2 green for a 8/8 legendary creature Ox Mole Mutant with Trample. And then whenever you tap a land for mana, add green. So this does add an additional green mana to your mana pool every time you tap a land for mana. So it's a mana doubler only for green, but also an 8/8 Trample for 6 mana. I don't see this being run in the command zone, but I do see this being run in a lot of, stompy, mono green, big stompy creature decks, mana ramp decks. 6 mana for an 8/8 body isn't 8/8 trample isn't bad, and then with the extra ability to double your mana, seems extremely strong. Next card is Leatherhead Swamp Stalker, 2 colorless and 2 green, so 4 mana value overall. Legendary creature Crocodile Mutant Rogue. It's a 5/4 with Trample. Leatherhead enters with a hexproof counter on her. And then whenever Leatherhead deals combat damage to a player, you may remove a counter from her. When you do, destroy target artifact or enchantment that player controls. Basically a reusable Reclamation Sage, or what is it? Chomping Changeling now from Lorwyn Eclipsed. Green has plenty of ways to put counters on things, +1/+1 counters. It doesn't specify that it has to be the hexproof counter. So, +1/+1 counter, shield counters, whatever, various other counters, and you can destroy an artifact or enchantment that player controls. So strong ability, very, very utility creature. Probably not going to be the commander of the deck, but definitely a strong contender for a utility creature that you can use. Moving on, we have Michelangelo Improviser, 3 colorless and 1 green, so 4 mana value overall. 4/4 legendary creature Mutant Ninja Turtle, has Sneak for 2 colorless and 2 green, so you're not really reducing the casting cost. It's still 4 mana value to sneak it in, but whenever Michelangelo deals combat damage to a player, you may put a creature card and or land card from your hand onto the battlefield. So this is a closest thing like an Elvish Piper. Whenever it deals damage, you just put a creature from your hand onto the battlefield and it ramps you. So very strong card. I can see this being run in a lot of, like I said, mono green stompy decks. You're basically going to get in with a creature, and then you have land and another creature, and it doesn't say with mana value X or less, so you could throw out your biggest creature for basically free when Michelangelo deals combat damage to a player. Moving on, we have Michelangelo Weirdness to 11. 1 and a green for a 1/1 legendary creature Mutant Ninja Turtle. When Michelangelo enters, create a mutagen token. It's an artifact with tap 1 and sacrifice it. It put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It can only activate as a sorcery. And it says if 1 or more +1/+1 counters would be put on a creature you control, that many +1/+1 counters are put on it instead. So if 1 or more would be put on, that many +1/+1. So this is Ozlith Shattered Spire, Kamiya Whisper Hopes, Hardened Scales on a creature, and it's 2 mana, so basically slots in right with those guys. It's another redundant piece for +1/+1 counter decks. At 2 mana value, it's the same as the green Ozlith. It's the same as the Kami. So just another way to add counters, which green's always good at adding counters to things. Next is another technique. It's Michelangelo's technique, 4 colorless and a green. It has sneak for 3 colorless and a green. Look at the top 8 cards of your library. Put up to 2 creature cards with total mana value 6 or less from among them onto the battlefield, and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So this, look at the top 8 cards, 2 creatures onto the battlefield, total mana value 6 or less, so their combined mana value has to be 6 or less, but if you sneak it in 4 mana to get 2 creatures on the board, seems pretty good. Not much else to say about that card. Next card is Mutagen Man, Living Ooze, X and 2 green for a 2/3 legendary creature Ooze Mutant with Trample. Activated abilities of artifact tokens you control cost 1 less to activate. And then when Mutagen Man enters, create X Mutagen tokens. So they are artifacts with pay 1, tap, sacrifice this token, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Activate only as a sorcery. Well, this basically turns all of your mutagens into just tap and sacrifice to put +1/+1 counters. So takes the mana reduction off of that. If you run a clue deck, this basically reduces that clue cost. So any artifact, any of your food tokens and your clue tokens, I could see this being beneficial to run in the 99, not necessarily as the head of the commander deck, but definitely a good utility creature to have. Granted, if you're in green and the 2 green pips is a little restrictive, but if you're making a bunch of tokens and you're making treasures and stuff like that, I think in conjunction with your food and all that, I think you can easily get this out on the battlefield for just 2. Not worry about creating the mutagen tokens and just use that first ability. Moving on, we have enchantment class called Party Dude, 1 green, so really cheap to throw out there. When this class enters, each player creates a food token. 1 and a green to level it up to level 2. When an artifact an opponent controls is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. So this works if they sacrifice that food. If you're playing against a treasure deck, anytime they sacrifice a treasure, you get to draw a card. And then 4 and a green, whenever 1 or more of your opponents are attacked, up to 1 target attacking creature gets +X/+X until end of turn, or X number of cards in your hand. So it's a draw engine. On it, I think, 5 mana for that last, so you're going to be paying a total of 8 mana to get to that last ability. I don't know how often you're going to be kicking it up to level 3, but I think level 2 is probably the best. A lot of artifact relevance, a lot of food tokens, and the like. So treasures, foods, clues. Anytime your opponent sacrifices one of those, you're getting to draw a card. So if you're running this in a deck, definitely want no maximum hand size. And then if you do end up activating that last ability, then if you have no maximum hand size, you could see like creatures getting a target attacking creature. So you can buff up one of your creatures. That seems like a pretty solid card. Moving on, we have Transdimensional Bovine, 2 colorless and a green for a 0/4 Ox Avatar with flying. And you can tap it and add 2 mana of any one color. So 3 mana value Mana Dork. That's a 0/4, so it can't be lightning bolted, which is always nice. You get 2 mana. And to parallel with the most recent block that's come out, Lorwyn Eclipsed, I think the new Doran would like to see this card. There's a discrepancy of 4 between the power and toughness, so if this thing actually did attack in the Doran deck, it would be a 4/8 with flying, which really isn't nothing to sneeze at. Finally, the last green card is Turtle Power, 2 colorless and a green enchantment with Flash and pretty simple Anthem. Turtles you control get +2/+2. Not much to say about it. If you're building a Turtles deck that has green in it, this is a 3-mana value Anthem, just to soup up your creatures. And so far, that's all the green cards that were spoiled during the Lorwyn Eclipsed pre-release. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Take care.